Hi aspirants, welcome to IMS Get Set Law. In this video we are going to cover the current affairs of month of June, and we are going to cover 9 different topics from the month of June, and these are the most important topics that we are going to cover: Operation Spiderweb, Israel-Iran conflict, and Operation Sindhu. These three are related to wars that are going on internationally, and the other 6 most important topics from the month of June.
To book a free one-on-one law counseling online or at any IMS center, check out the link in the description box or the pinned comment below.
Now, without any further ado, let's start with our first topic, Operation Spiderweb. Now, Operation Spiderweb is a mission that was launched by Ukraine against Russia. Now, Ukraine executed this Operation Spiderweb. It is one of its largest drone offensive. Now, we have already seen in the last 2 years the drone technology in Ukraine has spread, and it is being used in the war with Russia. Now, this drone technology that Ukraine used in Operation Spiderweb is one of the largest offensive that it has used using the drone technology against Russia. Now, Operation Spiderweb is a high precision, long range drone operation launched by Russia targeting Russian air bases. Now, what Ukraine's this mission targeted was the uh, air bases of Russia. Most of the air bases were targeted by Ukraine in this mission. Now, 117 drone. The drone deployment number is around 117 drones, and the targets were the aircrafts, including the most important aircrafts of Russia and air bases. The targets were the air bases and aircrafts of Russia. Now, it let's see the what is the scope of this mission. The scope was the attack spanned multiple Russian time zones, which means that there were different aircrafts in different air bases, and the Ukraine's offensive targeted different time zones, which means different air bases in different locations of Russia. Widespread targets were there, right? Now, Ukraine has time and again in this war showed that even though it is small in comparison of territory and army against Russia, but using technology and using drone, it has survived in this war, right? And this spider web is again one of the most important example regarding that. Now, Operation Spiderweb, how it was launched, remote launches, which means that the drones were positioned inside Russia, and from there the drones were deployed. Remote launches positioned covertly near the air bases. The drones were positioned near the air bases, and from there it was launched. Air bases, the names of the air bases may be important, as we have seen in clat 2023 paper that the question regarding Russia-Ukraine war was asked. In 2024 Israel-Palestine conflict question was asked. So this type of topic is also important for our current affairs. Now, the names of air bases could be important. You should note it down in your notes. Response timing, it was just after Russia launched one missile strike against Ukraine, and just after that Ukraine launched this Operation Spiderweb. Right? Now, what it means for Ukraine, what it means for this war between Russia and Ukraine. Now, it demonstrated Ukraine's reach and resilience, designed to bolster Ukraine's leverage ahead of peace talks. Now, a peace talk between Russia and Ukraine is scheduled, and this offensive Spiderweb, Mission Spiderweb, Operation Spiderweb gives an amount of leverage to Ukraine in this peace talk. There won't be any kind of imbalance that was there previous to this mission, right? Now, you should know about this Operation Spiderweb, the air bases that were targeted, also the drone deployment number, and the targets, the aircrafts, right? Now, let's move to another topic after this. Iran-Israel conflict. Now, Israel-Iran conflict, it started in the month of June, just in the first week of June. Now, first, let's understand the historical perspective and the historical relationship between these two countries. Now, the relationship between Israel and Iran wasn't like what is right now in the present in 2025. It wasn't like that. In 1979, there was an Iranian revolution, and in this Iranian revolution, the Shah's regime, which was closer to West, closer to United States, closer to United Kingdom, was overthrown, and an Islamic Republic was established. An Islamic Republic government was established in Iran, right? Now, the relationship between Iran and Israel has been marked by deep hostility since 1979. Why 1979? As we understood, there was Iranian revolution, and an Islamist Republic government, an Islamist Republic regime was established after 1979's revolution, right? Which transformed Iran from a close ally of Israel. Why? Because Iran was close ally of United States, of United Kingdom, and in turn, in the same way, it was an ally of Israel as well. Israel had few allies in 1970s and 1960s in Middle East, and one of the allies was Iran. Under the Shah's regime, to Islamic Republic openly antagonistic, openly against towards the Jewish state. Jewish state is Israel. Israel was formed. Israel was formed in the year 1948, right? Israel as a state, and there we won't go in depth into the Israel as a state when it was established, the Palestinian territory, etc., because it is another topic, a whole big topic. Now, this was the relationship of Iran and Israel before 1979. Now, religious and ideological divide. Iran, governed by Shia Islamic principles, and Israel, a predominantly Jewish state, are divided by stark religious and ideological differences. Now, Iran has an ideology that is that it does not want a Jewish state in the Palestinian territory in Middle East. Its stance is clear. And what Iran is doing, Iran has been supporting anti-Israel groups in Palestinian cause. It has supported Hamas, it has supported, openly supported, we have to use this word, it has openly supported this group, Hamas and Hezbollah, which are fighting against Israel, right? Both of which are labeled as terrorist organizations by Israel. Now, this support, along with geopolitical rivalry, Iran and Israel are locked in a struggle for regional dominance. Now, there are some countries in the Middle East which are fighting for dominance, and they are also fighting proxy wars. What is proxy war? That they are not directly engaging in any kind of dispute, barring this instance, barring Israel and Iran dispute, this which started in the month of June. But they are fighting for proxy war, which means that they are fighting in some other territory, for example in Syria, for example in Yemen. Now, this geopolitical rivalry is a struggle for regional dominance. Iran and Israel and Saudi Arabia, other countries, Israel is fighting for its existence, it is saying. Iran is fighting for the cause of Palestine and the regional dominance. Now, with opposing interest in conflicts such as Syrian civil war and Yemen crisis, this is proxy war. Saudi Arabia was also involved, Iran is also involved, Israel is also involved. Now, what is another reason for this conflict? We have understood the historical perspective. Why Iran is against Israel. We have seen how Iran is supporting the groups which are fighting against Israel. Now, what is the another reason? One of the most important reason because of which US also jumped into this war, and the reason is Iran's nuclear ambition. Now, Israel views Iran's nuclear program as a serious threat, fearing the development of nuclear weapons that could endanger its existence. Now, there was an agreement between USA and Iran in the year 2014, and the President Barack Obama was the president at the time, and this slowed down the nuclear program of Iran, and Iran also agreed to this treaty. But lately we have seen that after the war in Israel and Palestine and in other areas was in full go, Iran has started to build its nuclear enrichment program, right? And that Israel sees it as one of the threat in the region, because Iran is openly against Israel, and if there is any nuclear ambition of Iran, that it is directly a threat to Israel. That's why we have seen that USA also jumped into the war and targeted some of the bases which is allegedly said to have nuclear program or nuclear capabilities, enrichment programs of Iran, right? Now Israel and USA have used this dispute as a way to curb down or slow down the progress of Iran's nuclear program, right? This is the crux of the conflict between Israel and Iran. Now, let's see this conflict from India's perspective, what it could mean for India. Now, India's energy security, India imports 2 million barrels of oil daily from Iran, from Strait of Hormuz. But it was now, after the conflict has been slowed down, this strait won't be blocked and the energy security won't be hampered, but it is transferred or transported from Strait of Hormuz. This is an important point, you should note it down. Secondly, any instability which would mean supply shortages, spiraling energy cost, etc., rising inflation, but it has been controlled. There was a little rise in the prices of oil, but it has been controlled after the conflict has slowed down. Impact of Indian diaspora. There 66% of India's 1.3 crore NRIs in the Middle East, mainly in UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar and Oman and Bahrain are there, and some of the diaspora is in Iran. India has successfully used its air forces to bring back the diaspora to Indian territory, and the operation's name is Operation Sindhu. We will discuss this operation in the coming topic as well. Now, disruption in strategic connectivity. India has interest in Chabahar port of Iran. It might affect India's interest in Chabahar port. India is developing the Chabahar port. India is actively using the Chabahar port of Iran. Now, India is also in a diplomatic tightrope, as India has built proper strong relationship with Israel, and India has strategic interest with Iran as well. India has built robust relationship with Israel, especially in areas like defense, technology and innovation. However, as tensions escalate, India could find itself in a challenging position, because India has been a good friend. India has good diplomatic relationship with both the countries, with Israel and with Iran as well, right? So India has to see its diplomatic relationship with both the countries stays. But we have seen in the past few days that India has come out some and spoken against the Israel's action in Gaza, but not India has not actively said anything about the disputes between actively spoke out against Israel or against Iran in this conflict, right? Now, let's move to the other topic, Operation Sindhu. This is the topic that we were talking about. Now, Operation Sindhu is an operation which is for to take the Indian diaspora from Iran to India. Now, India is bringing its diaspora, its citizens from Iran through Armenia, offers the most practical and secure land route for evacuation of diaspora from Armenia, diaspora which is present in Iran. Has a 44-kilometer border. Armenia has a 44-kilometer border with Iran and a 730-kilometer highway. Now, why India has not used any other territory, any other country, has not taken any support from any other country, is because there is instability. We cannot use Pakistan, instability in Afghanistan, and there, after the conflict between India and Pakistan, Azerbaijan and Turkey has actively supported actively supported Pakistan. Now, Iraq. In Iraq, there is instability. That's why the only one route that is left for diaspora from Iran to leave Iran is through Armenia, this 44-kilometer border. Now you should know, you should write down about Operation Sindhu, and we'll also discuss some of the other operation that India has successfully operated for evacuation from different countries. Operation Kaveri from Sudan, Operation Ajay after Israel and Gaza Palestinian conflict was started, Operation Ajay from Israel, Operation Ganga from Ukraine in 2022, from Afghanistan, Operation Shakti, and last from various other COVID-19 evacuation, Operation Samudra Setu. These are the five most important evacuation operation that India has named in the past: Sudan, Israel, Ukraine, Afghanistan, and various other countries for COVID-19. You should write it down, make notes of this operations. And the current one is Operation Sindhu from Iran. Right. Are non-permanent members. Then they are elected. The 10 non-permanent members are elected for a term of 2 years, and they retire after every 2 years, right? Now, 5 permanent members are China, Russia, France, United Kingdom, and USA. 10 non-permanent members, they are elected after certain period of time. Now, there is another election for a 2-year term commencing from January 2026. The United Nations General Assembly, who elects? United Nations Security Council's non-permanent members, UNGA elects, has elected Bahrain, Colombia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Latvia, and Liberia as non-permanent members of United Nations Security Council. Already members, the other 5 are Denmark, Greece, Pakistan, Panama, and Somalia. It is one of the important topics of current affairs from the last month of June. Now, United Nations General Assembly, headquartered in New York, has elected this non-permanent members of United Nations Security Council. United Nations General Assembly has 193 members, all those member countries who have signed the United Nations Charter, right? Now, let's move to another topic, International Yoga Day. Now, International Yoga Day is celebrated on 21st of June every year, right? The theme for this year was Yoga for One Earth and One Health. Yoga for One Earth and One Health. Now, origin and UN declaration in United, it was proposed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2014 in United Nations General Assembly. General Assembly meets generally in the month of September of every year in New York, leading to a declaration of 21st June as International Day of Yoga. The first International Day of Yoga was celebrated in 2015. After 2014, it was proposed in that year. And the theme for first International Day for Yoga was Yoga for Harmony and Peace, right? The significance. Now, the significance of this date, 21st June, is that it is summer solstice. Now, there is summer solstice and winter solstice. Summer solstice day on 21st June is the longest day in northern hemisphere. Winter solstice is the shortest day. It comes in the month of December. 21st December is winter solstice, when the sun's rays fall directly on the Tropic of Cancer, bringing maximum daylight and making a transition to spiritual awakening in yogic tradition. Now, this summer solstice and winter solstice, it is also important from the perspective of philosophy, of yogic philosophy. It is written in Patanjali's Yoga Shastra. That's why this 21st June was declared as International Day of Yoga, right? Now let's move to another topic, the 16th census of India. 16th census of India. Now, census is generally conducted uh, uh, after every 10 years. It was supposed to be conducted in the year 2021, but because of COVID-19 it was postponed. Now the government of India has announced the dates for census that was to be conducted in the year 2021, and now it is going to be conducted in October 2026 and 27. Now there are why it is taking in two phases, why census is being conducted in two phases, because for snow-bound state and remote regions such as Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, census will start on October 2026, after just over a year, right? And for other areas, for the rest of the country, it is going to start on March 1st, 2027. It is going to start after around 1.5 years. This census marks a significant milestone as it will include the caste enumeration since 1931. What is caste enumeration? This census is also going to count the number of the population of a particular caste. Now this data was taken in prior census as well, but it was not published. Now in this census, specifically the caste population will also be counted, which will also be enumerated. This census marks a significant milestone. It will also include caste enumeration, caste calculation, population as well, calculation of population as well. It was last done in 1931, right? You should also find out the first session, the first census when it was conducted, and who was the viceroy at the time, right? Lord Mayo was viceroy at the time, and it was conducted in 19th century last, right? So you should find out in which year was the first census conducted. Now the census serve multiple critical functions, that it is on this basis, on the population that is counted, the electoral constituencies for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes is divided. The census is also used for some of implementation of some of the constitutional provision, and one of the most important constitutional provision regarding which is waiting for census is delimitation of constituencies. Now delimitation of constituency, it was supposed to be done in the year 2026. What is delimitation? It is the division of territory as constituencies basing upon the population of that particular state, of that particular district, right? Now the last delimitation was done in the year 1976. It was extended, it was for 25 years, and then it was extended for 25 years. The another delimitation was supposed to be conducted in the year of 2021. It was extended for another 25 years till 2026. So the delimitation exercise is supposed to be conducted in 2026 basing on the 2021 census, but it was delayed because of COVID-19. And after this 16th census, delimitation exercise will also be conducted. The territory of different constituencies will be revised after this census. Now, Constitution mandates delimitation of constituencies based on the most recent census. Government cannot use 2011 census, right? Article 330 and 32 also reserve seats for SC and ST. It is category basing upon their population. Central grants regarding schemes and policies, it is also done using the census data, right? Now, let's talk a little bit about the 2027 census, how it is different from last census. Now, it is in a significant shift from 2027 census plans to allow self-enumeration. Now, self-enumeration, what it means, that where households can log into a government portal or use an app and fill out their own details. It does not mean that government will not cross check. Government will cross check this self enumeration, but the population, the citizens have this option of self enumeration, giving self information of their household. Individuals who have self enumerated will have to just present this ID when census enumerated, the official, comes to their house. What's another importance regarding this 2027 census? Census 27 will include GPS integration, while 2011 used physical maps and area lists. 27 introduces GPS tagging of particular households and geofencing to avoid coverage gaps. Now, this census will tag the households on the GPS, right? Mobile tracking and validation enumerators in 2027 will receive alerts for error like inconsistent age, unrealistic household size, because government already has some kind of data regarding households, right? Now, if there is any faulty data that is being embedded in the app, the mobile tracking will alert regarding that false data. Unrealistic household size, enabling real-time correction, such as which did not exist in 2011. Coding system has been introduced regarding different markers. Earlier in 2011 census, information like caste, occupation or mother tongue was written by hand. Now it will be the input will be done in app, right? Now, let's move to another topic, Global Gender Gap Report. Now, India has been ranked 131st out of 148 countries in Global Gender Gap Report of 2025. It is reported by World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum is also important regarding its economic summit in Davos, Switzerland, right? Now, India was 129th in 2024 with a gender parity score of 64.1. 148 countries participate in this gender parity report. It was first published in 2006. Now, what are the parameters on which this global gender gap report is published? Economic participation and opportunity 1, educational attainment, health and survival, and political empowerment. These are the 4 parameters on which this global gender gap report is published. Economic participation, educational attainment, health and survival, and political empowerment, right? Now, let's look at the South Asia's performance and some of the top countries in this report. Now, Bhutan, Nepal, and Sri Lanka all ranked better than India. We don't have to remember the ranks of these countries. We just have to remember the rank of India, and the rank of India is 134. Bangladesh in the region is top performer with 24th rank. है ना? The global trends, it is important. Top 5 countries of global gender gap report index is Iceland, Finland, Norway, UK, and New Zealand. Iceland has topped this report. Now, who has topped the report? Who has topped from South Asia? Who is ahead of South Asia? Who publishes this report? World Economic Forum. All this is important as factual objective question could be asked basing upon this news, right? Let's move to another topic, 51st G7 Summit. Now let's move to another topic, 57 G7 Summit. Now this G7 Summit, 51st G7 Summit, I'm sorry, it was held in Canada. Now about G7 Summit, group of 7 countries, it is a group of 7 countries, is an informal forum of world's most advanced economies, including France, Germany, Italy, UK, Japan, US and Canada. Most of the economies are Western economies, barring Japan, Asian economy. Now, European Union is also a participant as non-included member, with leaders from International Monetary Fund, World Bank and other United Nations organizations are also invited to this meeting. Now, Indian Prime Minister is also invited to the meeting of this G7 summit in Canada. Now, origin and evolution, it was formed in 1975 as a G6 countries, group of 6 countries, US, UK, France, West Germany, Japan and Italy. Why West Germany? Because at the time Germany was not unified. Germany was unified in the year 1989. In response to 1973 oil crisis and financial turmoil, Canada later joined as seventh country. Now it became G8 country in 1997 as Russia joined, as it was also one of the bigger advanced economies at the time. But Russia had to leave G8 group after it annexed Crimea. Annexation of Crimea in the year annexation of Crimea in the year 2015. So Russia had to leave this group of 8 countries and it again became G7 group of countries. Right? Now nature of G7, it is an informal group. There is no treaty, there is no permanent secretariat or headquarter. There is rotating presidency, that every year the presidency is transferred to some other country, as it is done in G20 countries, and each member hosts and leads the discussion in turn, decision by consensus, no binding laws, no legislative authority. Generally all of the international organization, they cannot bind any other country on their legislation, treaty, agreement, conventions, etc. But significant global influence due to members' economic and political strength. All of the countries, the 7 countries, are advanced economies and they hold much soft power over other countries. That's why the G7 group of countries holds importance. Economic significance: 40% of global economy and 10% of world's population in G7 countries reside. 36% of power generation capacity, global energy, 36%, 30% of demand. So the economic significance of these countries is much larger, as we have seen that BRICS, larger population, larger economies, that kind of organization is G7, but G7 was initiated in 1975-76. BRICS was initiated in 2008. Now let's move to another topic, Axiom mission. Now why it is important? It is very important. It might the questions regarding this mission might be asked in any examination, not particularly to CLAT, but any other any other examination where objective questions regarding GK is asked. Now, Indian astronaut Subhanshu Shukla, you should remember the name. Subhanshu Shukla will pilot the Axiom mission 4 to International Space Station, while Peggy Whitson will command the mission. You should remember these two names, right? Now, Indian astronaut Subhanshu Shukla will become the second Indian to travel to space, right, after Rakesh Sharma in 1984, and first to set foot on International Space Station, right. As a part of the mission, ISRO is also involved. ISRO is sending tardigrades, some small water bears. These are small parasites like animal, microscopic animal, and ISRO is sending it to ISS to study how life can survive in extreme space condition. Axiom, one more important point regarding this Axiom mission 4 is that it is fourth private space flight to International Space Station, operated by the Axiom Space and the space company SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft is being used. All of the objective question is important in here. What points are important here? The points that are important here are written. Axiom, it is operated by Axiom Space. This aircraft that is used, its name is Crew Dragon. Subhanshu Shukla will become the first Indian to set foot on International Space Station, second Indian to travel to space, who is also piloting the Axiom mission, the space flight, who will command this mission, Peggy Whitson, right? Now, Axiom Space Day space mission is 14-day mission, and it is it is advancing to its goal to build first commercial space station. Now there is only one space station, international space station. India is also aspiring to build a Bharat space station, BSS, by 2035. Now Axiom mission will help, as the ISRO is also involved. Indian astronauts are also involved to for their aspiration regarding Bharatiya space station. It also features, it is also important objective factual point, that international crew comprising from 4 different countries: US, India, Poland and Hungary. Now, this is the last topic that we were going to cover in this video. We have covered 9 most important topics. We have covered 9 most important topics in this video, and I urge you to make notes of all of these 9 important topics. Right? It is topics from month of June. We will be back with the topics from month of July at the end of July. Till then, I hope you study well. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel of IMS Get Set Law, Instagram as well as YouTube. All the best.